Hi everyone, my name is Melissa Parks. I have my PhD in clinical and health psychology, and I work as a coach for expats and global nomads living around the world. So, if you've been following me for a while, and if you're living abroad yourself, you know that living an international life is full of really exciting moments, and it's also full of a lot of challenges as well. So my goal with these videos is to address some of those challenges, and then also give you lots of tools that you can add to your own toolbox to make the most of living your international life. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about something that often comes up for international couples, and that is managing the challenges of having a long distance relationship. So that could come up in many different forms depending on the relationship. Some of the clients I work with are love pats, so people who have moved abroad to be united with their romantic partner. Maybe they've met in another country, met online, and they're moving abroad to be in that partner's country, wherever that partner is living at this time. But often that means long distance for quite a while before the relationship, before they're actually able to live in the same place. It can also look like for intercultural couples. Sometimes that means, just trying to be able to meet everybody's needs. Sometimes that means that sometimes one partner is going to need to spend more time in their home country, maybe with family, or just because they're missing home. Maybe it's not possible for the couple to live in that country, but some couples make that intercultural relationship work by one partner spending extended amounts of time in that other country. Another way it can look like is for expat couples as well. Sometimes because of work reasons, either both partners travel quite a lot for their jobs, or it can be for instance, something that comes up a lot is that one partner gets offered a job in another country and the other partner isn't able to, either for work or for family reasons, isn't able to go just yet. So then that means that there's a long distance relationship happening there for several months, or for some families it's sometimes they get offered a position, one partner gets offered a position in a country where the family doesn't feel comfortable moving to. And so there's just so many different ways that this long distance stuff can come up. And when we think about romantic relationships, and especially I think if you're thinking about long term, right? Whether that looks like marriage or that looks like a serious committed romantic relationship, you're probably imagining being in the same place as your partner, right? And spending time together. You probably wouldn't imagine or necessarily hope or wish for having long periods of time apart. Although I will say, for some couples, it works really great and it actually ends up being a really helpful part of their relationship. But this video might not be exactly for them, because this video is about those challenges. So I know that, so I'm in an intercultural marriage. I grew up in the US, lived abroad for many years. I met my husband, who's from Venezuela. And when we were both originally living abroad in Spain, but he had a professional opportunity come up while we were dating that took him to the Netherlands. And I think one of the biggest challenges of long distance relationships are when there's not an end date in sight. So that's something I always tell my clients. If there is a way to create a sense of an end date, by all means do that, because that can just give us such a sense of safety and security. We didn't have that in this relationship. It was very much, there was a lot of uncertainty about was he going to stay there, and what would that look like for us too as well. So it was really difficult. It was really challenging, and of course I was lucky enough that the country was nearby, and so I could visit fairly frequently. I was a grad student at the time, so it wasn't really, as frequent. My budget didn't allow me to visit as often as I would have liked. But I found it so painful, right, to have those really condensed moments of being together and then needing to say goodbye at the end of the weekend or the end of the few days that we had together. And it just kind of clicked for me at one point. At that time, I had just finished taking a class that was called Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction. You might have heard that before, possibly, or not if you're not in the mindfulness world, but it's sometimes referred to as MBSR, and it's a great introduction to mindfulness class. And one of the things that was talked about a lot in that class was the importance of mindfulness of our emotions. And I remember being at the airport one day, like after we'd said goodbye, and just feeling such a deep sense of sadness, so much pain about having to say goodbye and not knowing when was the next time we were gonna see each other. My mind started racing, like, can I do this? Can we do this? This is so hard. I don't know how long we're gonna have to do this for. Kind of going into like what we call like catastrophizing mode, thinking of the worst case scenario and really doubting my ability to feel that feeling. But because I had been practicing mindfulness, I also found my brain starting like a new type of dialogue in that moment. And it was this. It was that this is sadness, like labeling the feeling, which is something that we don't usually do. We don't, when we're feeling sadness, when we're feeling angry, when we're feeling lonely, we don't like to feel those things. Like, why would we want to label them and maybe even risk making them bigger or turning our attention to them? That's the natural instinct. We don't do that. But the thing is, it helps so much just to put a label on it. I often tell my clients this little catchphrase that can help with that, and it's name it to tame it. That is such a helpful thing, because when we name the feeling, we're actually soothing our brain and letting our brain know what's going on. This is sadness. That's what's happening right now. Not only that, but I was able to say, this is sadness, and I was also able to say, it's okay to feel sad. It's so normal to feel sad in this moment. And this is just a feeling. And this feeling isn't going to last forever. I'm going to get back to Madrid. I'm going to probably feel sad, maybe even for a couple of days. But it's not going to last forever, because feelings don't last forever. They come and they might feel like they get really big, but they're like waves and they go back down again. So in that moment, I had a totally different dialogue going on with myself about the sadness I was feeling about my long distance relationship. Instead of saying like, don't feel sad, it's not that big of a deal, you'll see each other again soon, you'll figure it out, you're a strong, independent woman, maybe some of the stuff I would normally say, I was totally talking to myself really in the way like, you probably, like as a parent, hopefully be talking to your kids about their feelings, right? Like, this is sadness, this is okay, it hurts, everybody feels sad sometimes, and it's just a feeling. And then the next question too, what do you need right now? So I was able to ask myself that too, what do you need? I only wish that at that moment I would have had a tool that I found to be so helpful for my clients. I wish that I would have also been able to infuse that mindfulness with self-compassion. Really, I was already adding in some self-compassion just by like turning towards my feelings, not criticizing myself for having those feelings. But I wish I would have known about this exercise called the self-compassion break, because I think it would have been really helpful to just know in that moment, oh, hey, I can walk through the self-compassion break right now. So that's what I want to teach you guys today, is the self-compassion break. It's a great thing to use if you're in a long distance relationship and you're feeling sadness or feeling scared about, how long is this gonna last? Feeling nervous about the uncertainty. It's also great to use even if you're not in a long distance relationship. But this international living is involved with a lot of goodbyes, saying goodbye to cities, saying goodbye to people we care about. And so it's also great for those moments as well, even if it's not our romantic relationship, just being far away from friends or loved ones or loved places. So here's how it goes. This is something, I'm gonna walk you through in a little bit of a meditative sense, but it's something you can also do if you practice just like really quickly on the go. You can just walk yourself through the steps. There are 3 steps that you're gonna do. One of them, first one, you can close your eyes if you want. You can just look down. Sometimes in meditation we say close your eyes because it's just so you're not getting distracted. But you just kind of want to like check in with your body and just notice, what is that feeling that I'm feeling right now? And sometimes we can label it, right? Like I said, in that moment I could label this as sadness. But sometimes we can't. We can just say like, this really hurts, or this sucks right now. That can be just enough to just say that. So don't worry too much about having the word for your feeling. But what we don't want to do is we don't want to fall in that trap of criticizing how we're feeling. We don't want to get caught up in the storyline and start asking like, can I survive this or anything like that. We just want to label it, and we just want to remind ourselves, this is a feeling. And then we want to go into the second piece, which is called the common humanity piece. This is where we remind ourselves that it's normal to feel these painful human feelings. It's part of being human. It doesn't mean that we're weak. It doesn't mean something is wrong with us. And we can also remind ourselves in this moment, other people who are in similar situations would be hurting too. The last piece is self-kindness, which is what we often think of when we think of self-compassion. And this is saying those encouraging words to yourself. Like I said, maybe thinking about, if you're a parent, what would you say to your child? What would you say to a friend? What do you really need your loved one to say to you right now? And thinking, what do I need to hear? And with this part too, you can bring in some soothing touch, because sometimes that's what we're really missing when we're in a long distance relationship too, is just getting a hug from the person we really care about. And so you can do things like actually giving yourself a hug, or resting 2 hands or 1 hand on your chest. You might have seen as I'm talking through this, I'm actually doing that too. You'll be surprised at how soothing this can be. So I'd really encourage you to add that component too. And then just say something encouraging to yourself. I'm here for you. You're not alone. This is so hard, but you can do this. This won't last forever. I believe in you. So whatever feels comfortable for you to say, you don't have to copy my phrases. Try to think of your own that sound natural to you. And that's it. That's the self-compassion break. So then we, get back to real life, get on the plane, make dinner, whatever it is that's coming next. Something else that I think is really helpful, and you can add it into that self-compassion break too, is sometimes just reframing goodbyes. It hurts, right? And when it hurts, sometimes it's really difficult to see it through a positive lens, but we are really lucky to have something that we love so much that it's hard to say goodbye to. I know there's a quote there, but I don't remember it right off the top of my head. But we are really lucky for that, and that's where sadness comes in. We're sad for things because there's something we care about so much, and it hurts. So I hope that if you're in a long distance relationship, or just experiencing even a week away from your loved one, that maybe you can give this self-compassion break a try. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear. Send me a message, leave me a comment below, and let me know if you have any questions too. I hope you have a great week. Take care. Bye.